Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic, host of Bachelor Nation News. Happy hump day to everyone out there. And we've got Kat from this season of Bachelor in Paradise doing her apology tour on Bachelor Happy Hour podcast, which has become basically state-controlled media for Bachelor Nation. Now, you guys might know this, you might not. I'm a fan of Kat. I don't choose who I like from The Bachelor based on how good their edit is or how good of a person they are even. I just like her. I think she's cool. I think she's messy. I think she might be this season's Victoria Fuller, and I'm hoping she finds love. Well, she was on Bachelor Happy Hour podcast, and they say, trust us when we say this is a must listen. Let me tell you something. There isn't anything I trust less, than what Bachelor Happy Hour says. You see how my throat got a little closed there? That's because my body could feel the BS coming from the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast page. But either way, we're going to get into this story in just a second here. We got a lot of content to get to today. I want to personally thank everyone who's donated to our GoFundMe for legal funds. They're trying to raise $12,000. Essentially, my lawyer told me he needs a $10,000 retainer to cover the costs of going to court over the content I've created regarding Clayton Echard's paternity scandal. I've received $3,000 donations, one from Bruce, one from Teresa, and one from, I'm going to forget the other one. Barbara gave two $500 donations. Victoria with $250, Anonymous, Spike, Sarah. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody from the $5, the $1 to the $1,000 donations. Some people might think this is crazy, but it is. You have to fight crazy with crazy. It's absolutely crazy that our reporting and our commentary of a public court case is getting or being attempted to be silenced. And we're not going to let that happen. And we're going to raise a whole bunch of hell in the process, thanks to a lot of your support. So thank you guys all so much. And yes, $12,000 will be burned through, sadly, very fast in the court system, but it's going to give us the chance to subpoena certain records and get things, on the witness stand and all these other things that have to happen. Look, I'm not a lawyer, but I did background on Law and Order. All right, let's get into it. Here's Kat. Let's just go to what she had to say here. Let's go to, we lost it here. Let's go to the Bachelor Happy Hour page. I'll play the teaser and then we'll get into the actual episode.
You're anxious. Are you anxious for this?
Very. It's been a whirlwind over
the music
the last couple of weeks. We had a lot of conversations about where we saw or at least where I thought we saw our relationship going in the coming weeks, because it was day 2. Should I have maybe pulled him aside and made it more personal and also a little bit more in front of people so that they could have a little bit more perspective? Absolutely.
Before Tanner ends up going on a date with Davina, what is your relationship status?
I don't know. That was the problem. But you're worried that you're going to get, effed over on this beach. That is your biggest concern. And in that moment, I was definitely feeling like I just got he's just like an F-boy.
I'd have had that conversation maybe with Eliza when she first started talking to Aaron.
I don't think it comes down to the timeline. If anything, it makes more sense to do it later because that's when things are getting more serious.
So from your point of view, where did Olivia and John Henry stand?
I don't know. I mean, they were hanging out for sure. He's very easy on the eyes.
Whoa.
So he's really fun to talk to and hang out with and just look at in general. I remember I would forget what he says because he would just talk to me and I couldn't hear him because he's so attractive.
There it is. And look, okay, I have this problem too. I can't talk to Dave. I can't look at him. He's so attractive. No, that's not. Okay, but, Kat's a fan favorite of our channel. And you might say, Dave, are you only picking fan favorites based on looks? And to that, I respond by saying, let's just listen to this episode. All right, so we've got 3 different clips here. No, Kat, and there's no spoilers attached to this, but Kat is projected to do well on the season, right? She's still there. She's not going away. She's kind of a centerpiece of the drama. And as Bachelor producers are concerned, they want to fly close enough to the sun to get a nice suntan, but not too close that they get burned, right? And that's the problem here, is that the audience all hates Kat right now, which I think's foolish. Is she messy? Sure. Am I willing at this stage in my life as a elder millennial, am I willing to sort of crucify people for how they act on a beach that is literally built to get people to act the messiest? No. That'd be like getting mad at somebody for falling into the water when you let them out on thin ice. The beach is thin ice. Be careful of the ice. The beach will get you. It got Kat. Let's have a listen.
Because it was day 2. And even in the bonfire, when Hannah asked me that question about who I was hoping to see, Brayden responded with, in front of everybody, like, you know, I know that we talked about it and I'm good in it. I still want to just pursue her. So from my understanding, it was like, everybody saw that, like, he's acknowledging that. That's so mature. That's so great. Like, we've talked about it. Like, we're still just going to, like, we like each other and I'm enjoying what's happening and I'm leaning into it. Like, you know, having fun and just affectionate and everything like that. Was definitely very affectionate with him. But at the end of the day, like, expectations and, like, we had talked about it because I always wanted to make sure that it was at least said. And yeah, I would say that's like where I was at before Tana came in. Like, I was just under the understanding that we were on the same page.
Now, of course, Kat's going to give her very generous side where she's the lead and the star of her own story, which we understand. Now, could we cross-examine Kat? Could we pull all the footage? Absolutely. When she got dumped by Tanner, she said, he didn't dump me, I dumped him. Again, like I said, we could argue all day long on what's right and wrong based on real-life morals and real-life ethics, and I just think we have to start throwing that out the window here and just say, look, yeah, it's messy. This is just messy stuff that happens. Is Brayden a better person? Well, I'll say this. I've met Brayden. I like Brayden. I liked him when he was considered the villain on Charity Season. Does that mean he's the better person? No. My guess is I would like Kat too. I would think she's a good person. I think we just need to reframe how we think of these people. And even though they use their real names on this show, the show is anything but real.
I'll be totally honest.
Please.
That's exactly what we thought was happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
like, I think you're getting a lot of like people saying like, oh my God, like, how dare she go on this date? Like, I'm assuming we've probably said this on the podcast, but we've definitely talked about this like to each other. Like,
let's do this. Donate to my legal fund for every time somebody says like. Donate $1 for every time someone says like, and I will be able to afford the best attorneys that this money could buy.
Our perception of what was going on was you had said, like, in the Truth Circle, like, I'm looking to go on a date with like maybe Tanner or Tyler if they come down. We've been down there. We know day 2, day 3 is still so early. Like, we were not exclusive by that point. And you just like
give me like a really a really dirty look there. Jesus.
No, I didn't.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, anyway, but what I was gonna say is, I feel like Brayden seemed like he was more locked in on you than you were on him. But at no point did it seem like you guys were exclusive. Like, when Tanner asked you on the date, like, I was like, yeah, like, of course she's going to go on this date. Like, she's been verbal about this. She's been, like, open about this. And because we only see a little bit, I always assume you've said it more than just what we've seen. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you see something said once, you're like, you got to kind of assume that's been said like 2 or 3 times.
And I will say,
I think Serena's got a great voice. I think she's really good. The voice is good. The issue that needs to happen with Serena and Joe is I think they're the ones in the same room. So just maybe more eye contact to know who's going to talk next. But they do a pretty good job. I understand why they were made the hosts, even though they weren't stars of the show. They are a relationship that's flourished from the season. But come on, we're going to have fun with it. Okay, let's go to like the next part here.
Absolutely. I don't know like what to do. So I'm like, we've talked about it. Everybody knows. Here he is saying, okay, I'm good to go if he asks me, kind of thing.
All right, so now they're saying that Brayden said he was good to go because the whole issue is whether or not she scorned over or she sort of made Brayden out to be the damsel who waited for her and she moved on to the next guy. And she says, no, Brayden knew all along I was interested in John Henry. Oh, excuse me, Tanner, whoever it is at this point, some nice guy with abs.
Well, what was his attitude when you did?
That I was going? Oh, he was like all for it. He was like, have fun.
Yeah. That's where, objection, Your Honor. Brayden was all for you going on a date with someone else. Hey, honey, my reaction if you go on a date with another guy isn't going to be have fun. It's going to be, I hope it rains on your hair.
Be here when you get back. Okay. Like, just.
I hope you step into a puddle and have wet socks for the whole date.
Very understanding and reassuring that I'm not doing anything.
I hope you're both constipated and have diarrhea at the same time. Maybe get a hangnail on one of your pinky toes and it just irritates you. That's what I hope for. I mean, is that love? Maybe.
have the response that it did when I actually did get back.
I hope you have like an eyelash in your eyeball, but not one that's like so bad you have to pick it out, but one that just annoys you and you just start blinking all the time. And then he's like, why are you blinking so much? And you're like, I don't know, I got wet socks. And the next thing you know, you come back home to old Dave Neal, power recapper.
Yeah, see, I'm with Serena on that. Like when we watch it, I was like, yeah, I really don't think you did anything wrong. The only time, and as a viewer, where I watch it and I kind of put you at fault,
Please.
would be, it seemed like you were
Give it to her, Joe.
upset with him
Right.
being
And
upset.
And that's the weaponization of who's the victim and who's not. We saw this happen with Victoria Fuller with Pilot Pete's season. I always bring it back because it's so clear. It's like, you can't fire me, I quit. She did that with Tanner, right? Where he tried to dump her and she's like, I let you dump me first, but I was going to dump you already. So technically I'm dumping you. It's a very, I don't want to call it low IQ, but it's what you do before you're fully matured. You have to place blame on others because of an insecurity you have. No, that's just what it is. It doesn't mean she's a bad person. It just means watching back, she might say, I could probably work on myself here where I don't have maybe I don't know, it's not self-control, but I don't have the emotional IQ to be able to say, yep, I own that. I made a mistake. I was hypocritical there. It's more, no, I didn't do that. You did this. And it's like, well, we could roll back the tapes here. So I think Kat would be quick to admit that she was defensive, insecure, and all those things. My question is it because you're a bad person or you're just crabby on a beach? My guess is you're crabby on a beach.
I agree.
But I do think that you've given a little more context of why you were so frustrated. And if you're saying that you'd had multiple conversations about your status of your relationship and where things were going and, that you wanted to be going on these dates, then there definitely wasn't a betrayal. It's totally fine for him to feel hurt by that. And yes, I will say you were definitely frustrated with his frustration, but I do think your backstory gives more context to that story.
In the moment when I come back and like your friends and everybody is like all of a sudden against you, and you're from the understanding of like, but wait, I just stopped talking to him. And he, even in that conversation where we broke up, he was like, it's all good. Is that my computer? Sorry. Anyway, so when, I come back and everyone is like against me, it was just a really overwhelming feeling in general. Do I handle it?
Well, why do you, not to cut you off, but why do you think the girls, like your friends, seem to be against you? Why?
I don't know if they were
question.
necessarily against me. Jess is like my best friend for a reason. She's that friend that will call you out.
There it is. Jess will call you out. Yeah, it's easy for your friends to call you out. That's the bumpers that you need in this game of bowling. You need the bumpers in the lanes to keep you from falling into the gutter. They call you out along the way. Kat, you're being a little ridiculous. Oh, Jess, you're being a little crazy right now. Oh, my bad. Let me rein it in. Aren't we all just the reptilian side of our brains a little bit crazy, and we're just fighting the fight or flight sort of aspect of our heads here? And speaking of crazy, donate to my legal fund if you don't want a crazy court case to win, if you believe I'm on the right side of history. Links in the bio. We're going to raise this money so we can just go to court and just take care of business. Taking care of business. Okay, that's the plan, folks. I'll be back with more content. Avon has apologized. Lots of Paradise content today. We'll get to that right after. And by the way, double episodes of Bachelor Rush Hour today. I messed up yesterday and didn't publish the afternoon episode. My bad. So double episodes today. So go catch up on that content if you want to hear some exclusive audio-only content. It's on Bachelor Rush Hour, the podcast.